All right, Ron, we are back again with another question.
Okay, thank you.
Ron, can artificial intelligence destroy one's consciousness?
Artificial intelligence is one of the most vile and pernicious things that anybody could create. But it has to be programmed to do what it's going to do. And so who creates it um, will have the effects that that person wants or that person doesn't want. You get into the bad guys creating AI, and that's and then give it the ability to effectively have its own life, its own thought processes. Then it goes about the activity that was originally done, and that's to kill people and kill anything, destroy galaxies and destroy universes. And that's part of what AI is doing. Now, AI can be used and is used by the very highly evolved individuals for mundane things that can happen, but it's under the control of God consciousness or Christ consciousness or uh, divine consciousness, whatever you want to call it. So I look at these kinds of things and I say, well, if there was going to be some um, I don't want to get into nature spirits because nature kingdom because that's a different conversation to have. But these kinds of AI is more of an intelligence rather than a negative intelligence, rather than a life force energy, but it has the capacity to destroy. And so when I look at artificial intelligence, who's the one that created it? And what was the purpose for the creation? Is it to create a car that can drive itself and take grandma to the grocery store? Well, that's a possibility, but then how do you know that it hasn't? In this day and age, how do you know if it doesn't have a negative component with it? Will do other things after or over a period of time. So uh, that means that it might the artificial intelligence might just run you in front of a semi and you get killed. Well, is that the purpose for it? I don't know. Did somebody put that in there? Maybe so. We don't know, and you don't know, and that's why I'm just saying if you listen to the voice of the Spirit and listen and learn, then you don't have to go through a lot of mistakes that you normally would go through unless. But now you've had the voice of the Spirit say, "Stay away from this," or "No, this is a good thing," and give you confirmation on how you should proceed. Well, that's what the Spirit is for. We don't understand that the Spirit is given to us because of our birthright. We have the right to have that consciousness with us all the time. And yet there's people, well, it's just my imagination. Well, who do you think told you that? Some Kabbalist that knows that your consciousness or your dreaming state has to do with your ability to create from your creation energies. It's all there. If you're not using your imagination, you're not really receiving. And the reason I say that is because when I ask a specific question to my guides or the people I work with main lines, if I ask a specific question, there and I can sit here and swear on they will ask me questions. Why? Because they want to know what I think about what I'm asking about. Is such and such a good person? Why do you want to know that? Well, they're doing all that. Yeah, that's their life. They get to do that. What do you think about that? Well, I don't like what they're doing. maybe you need to have some different thoughts about that. And then they'll lead you through a discussion. They very seldom just come back and give you an answer. Very seldom, I'll tell you that for sure. Very seldom do you get a direct answer for the question you have. They have you think it out. And when you come to the right conclusion as a result of that conversation, then they can say, well, I like your thinking. I think you're doing a good job. And you're saying, and you're saying to yourself, well, I guess that's a positive. That probably means that I got it right. And sometimes you can keep that thought and wondering, and other times you say, I'm going to let that be true, period. If it's not true, it'll prove itself not true. But I don't have to worry about it because I ask, and that's what I believe is right. So that's the way that I work with that.
Okay.
And I just wanted to say artificial intelligence can destroy you, but it's not an absolute truth. The bad ones can, and the good ones don't.
Okay. Well, that's a great point at the end, distinguishing that there are good and bad AIs. So, Ron, we appreciate that. And we'll come right back.
Okay.